Welcome back, folks. We are set up for our second match of the evening. We just saw Gale Force in pretty impressive fashion take down White Wolf Gaming. I am Jeff, joined by Gregorsaurus Rex here for week 3 of Overlord Prowler's Round Robin GMA Gaming League of Legends 2022. How are you feeling about this next matchup, Greg?
I am looking forward to this. The Blitzkrieg team has shown to be a very formidable force. I am curious to see if they can continue that trend, or if we will end up with a big old mess in the middle of the standings.
I mean, we already kind of have a mess in the standings. 4 teams sitting at 1-1 coming into this week. We just saw Gale Force move up to 2-1, so they've separated themselves from the pack at least momentarily. But I do agree with what you said about Blitzkrieg. I think that they have. I mean, it sounds kind of crass to say this when there's only been 2 matches played, but I feel like they've looked a little better than the 1-1 record would imply. When we were talking earlier tonight about how so many of these matches have been close, could have gone either way. Blitzkrieg was one of those teams that came to mind for me where I'm thinking they could very easily be 2-0 right now. On the other side, though, we certainly don't want to take anything away from Northern Storm, who've also looked very, very good so far. And it's great just to see how many of these teams you could say, even White Wolf now sitting at 0-3, you could say all these teams could potentially win this thing.
Absolutely true, and I think it's first of all interesting to note that those bans came out very fast.
Yeah,
Both
everybody
of
has a
these
plan.
teams knew exactly what they wanted to get rid of, and they did just that. We should probably talk about them quickly. We see the Swain, the Lilia, the Graves ban. Lilia and Graves against Lord of Admirals. Well, that sure makes sense. The Swain's a little
They
unexpected, but and
Yeah,
there's
that
the
is interesting. Is that aimed at Smokey potentially? That sub in the bot lane that we have here in the support
potentially.
role?
I had forgotten that it's Smokey this week instead of CB Hickey. Yes, he did play that in the past, so I suppose that could be directed at him. It also is worth noting that Shaken got his Zac, so we'll have to deal with
Ah, the
that.
classic. Yeah, the classic Shaken Zac. You mentioned the 2 bans aimed at Lord of Admirals did leave the Belveth up, which we saw him play last week, I believe, and is something that he told us after week 1 when he played against it was something that he'd been playing a lot of. So that champion is available. Kind of has pick of the litter here, but looks like they might just go with an Ornn, which would, I mean, I guess, yeah, Mordekaiser in the jungle for Lord of Admirals is another thing that he's very well known for.
Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to end up happening here. I do question why they would have picked the top and the jungle so soon back to back when they could have kept that as a flex. Um,
Hmm.
but perhaps they have some specific priority picks they want to make sure that they can get before the second ban phase.
And Seraphine was picked early on the side of Northern Storm, so that's a little bit of a flex as well. Mostly goes bot lane, obviously, but can be flexed to the mid lane. Fatly, I think we've only seen play Vigar so far this split. So we'll see another game of stacking for this mid laner. And I mean, honestly, credit to him. If you don't have to show any more cards, if you feel comfortable on this champion, you think it works, and no one else is making you show anything else, just keep doing it, I guess. Nocturne coming out, so we'll have a second straight game of Paranoia.
Yeah, the Nocturne ult with the Seraphine ult is also a little scary. Not quite as scary as the Vex combination, but the blindness will make it problematic enough.
Yeah, that's not an interaction I hadn't really thought of, but yeah, when you are the Seraphine, you could potentially time it up, right, where there's not a champion there to extend the range initially, but you fire it off, the Nocturne gets in range as it's approaching where he's about to land.
That would be incredible to watch. Sigtal Lord, if this is your Seraphine, this is your job. And Goonstomp, if it's Seraphine mid, this is your job.
And Neela banned out, so all that research I did into Neela is wasted, but that's okay. Morgana and Lux again. Second game in a row, actually, we've seen Red Side ban Lux Morgana in the last 2 bans.
They are really pinching Smokey's pool here, too.
I mean, it makes sense. If you have a sub coming in, you would probably have limited research on them compared to, a regular player. So maybe you just want to make them as uncomfortable as possible. We have seen Smokey play in the past here in GMA events, though, so we know that he's capable on a number of champions. But I understand the approach here as it pertains to Northern Storm.
Yeah, it's just sort of a rude welcome back to GMA play. Welcome back. You don't get to play any of your champions.
Yeah, some hazing going on
Right.
here. Tristana picked up for Brandanasaur. That seems like a very Brandana type champion. I've always personally loved Tristana. Just the resets you can get on her is so much fun. Now there's like 4 different 80 carry champions though where you get resets, so it makes her less special, but you know, that's okay. Sivir picked up for Tilted Pig, who is not Pistol Crab. Saying that for my own benefit.
Interesting to note, they left up the Misfortune, and he didn't take it.
That is a good call. Yeah, that's something that we quite often see banned away from Tilted Pig, who is not Pistol Crab. Smokey locks in the Thresh, so we're gonna have. I mean, Thresh lanes are always just fun. That's one of my favorite things about Thresh champions or Thresh players is just you're gonna get something happening.
If memory serves, Smokey's Thresh is pretty solid too, so this could be quite the explosive bot lane to watch.
And there's no Morgana, the natural counter.
Banned by the team that probably would not mind having it right now.
And it will be a Seraphine in the bot lane with Victor going mid lane in the hands of Goonstomp. I gotta say, I love both of these comps. I would be very happy to be playing on either one of these. I'm gonna make you go first, actually. Whose comp do you like better here?
They both want to brawl, obviously. It's going to be a very violent game. I think my money would probably go to Blitzkrieg's comp, primarily because of the Mordekaiser ult. You just get rid of the scary... Although, I suppose the Nocturne could just eat it if he tries to ult the Nocturne, so perhaps that won't be the target. But let's say, the Victor gets fed, and then Mordekaiser just takes him out of the fight. And suddenly, that's a lot more favorable of a fight for Blitz. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, there's a lot of nice targets for that Mordekaiser ultimate to pull into the Death Realm. Victor, Tristana, Seraphine, I don't really see any of them having the tools to survive that duel against the Mordekaiser. Maybe Tristana, if she can use that Buster Shot and the rocket jump properly just to gain distance. But Victor and Seraphine, they're not the types of champions that are ever going to build QSS. So there's no way to get out of that realm. You're locked in there with me, Lord of Admiral says. I do think I like the... There's like some deceptive mobility in the team comp of Northern Storm, if that makes sense. Champions like Victor and Seraphine, they don't have dashes, but they've got little mobility tools just to run a little faster, just to be a little more evasive that a lot of the time people forget about, I think. That's one of my favorite things about Victor personally as a player of this game is how fast he can go and you're just like, wait, why is this guy just limping away so quickly? On the side of Blitzkrieg though, yeah, it strikes me as sort of the type of comp where they want to run at you, but that's not their only function. They can actually play front to back. They can play a different style if they're forced into it.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. I suspect we will see this is not the sort of split push comp that either one of them is eyeing up here. Tristana can sort of do it, I suppose. But in all likelihood, this is going to be full 5-on-5 brawls. The Ornult coming out, trying to interrupt everything. It'll be interesting to see how the Zac is able to react to that, if he can get the jump off to stop the bounce of the Ornult when that comes back. The Cage, of course, we saw it last week when Fat Lee played Vigar. Just incredibly disruptive. It prevents so much from occurring. And I think it actually did a lot of work against the Zac last week as well. We see a lot of Zacs, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of flubbers bouncing around so far in the round robin 2022. But yeah, I like that you mentioned the Call of the Forge God, because there are a lot of tools for the side of Northern Storm to disrupt that. You can Buster Shot potentially, or you can get the root down from the Seraphine onto Gotta Get Lucky, so he can't redirect that ram. And even the Paranoia, it doesn't stop him from redirecting it, but maybe he doesn't know where to fire it off if you pop that ult at the right moment.
Yeah, it's gonna be an exercise of skill, I think, to see how these fights play out. One thing I will say, the wave clear is very solid on both sides, but part of the reason that I give my favor again over to the Blitzkrieg comp here is that even if both teams play it perfectly, you're still on a clock because Vigar will stack.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the scaling from the side of Blitzkrieg is potentially insane. You've got the infinite capabilities of Vigar, and you've got the old meme of the 400 CS Sivir win condition. And then you add on top the Ornn item upgrades.
Yeah, it's going to be scary to see.
Well, spectator delay is finally over. Everybody stop cheating so that we don't have to do this anymore, please. Are you in loading screen yet?
No, I have a black screen.
Oh, here we are. I'm in. No skin, still on Fatly. Boo. Firefighter Tristana. That's an interesting one. That's an old school one.
It's a very old one. And then the Seraphine skin that makes her look like Mercy from Overwatch.
Oh man, I miss when Overwatch was fun. I like the synergy of the Blood Moon Sivir and the Blood Moon Thresh, but without a skin on Fatly and Shaken having the pool party skin, you know, summer theme, I like it. Personally prefer the skins of Northern Storm here. I'm in the game, but I'm a little frozen. Are you in the game?
Yes, I am in the game and I am frozen as well. So we will have to wait and see if
sweet.
It's gonna work.
Let's go. We need to pull Stig actually from his team chat into the live broadcast so he can do us some radio chat like he did that one time. Or radio casting, excuse me.
Interesting. Can I play? Okay. Alright. That was odd. I think we're good now.
Oh, are you good? Oh, yep, I'm good. I'm fast forwarding all the way up to most recent.
Yeah, I think I'm there.
Okay. Oh, yep, nobody's doing anything again. God, guys. Okay. One day I'll get over this, and by one day I mean never. 5 point from everybody.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Actually, there's a little window down on bot side where if everybody was willing to flash that wall, they could sneak into the jungle. Come on, Blitzkrieg, do it.
Oh, he's going for the stack. He's going for the stack.
Get it! Oh, 0 for 1. Report, man.
That was BM, Fatly. We were having a nice, calm time here. You had to go in there and throw some Qs around.
Does he get a stack if J-Dog would have spell shielded that?
I think so. Because it still counts as a champion hit.
Okay. Because, I mean, not that you would ever want to do that if you're J-Dog, but it would have been pretty funny if he would have skilled W just to spell shield that.
Right.
Well, Leash was start for Nocturne. We saw that last game as well, starting on the chickens. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Lord Admirals will get a little help on this red buff from Smokey and Tilted Pig, who is not Pistol Crab. And Brandon Soren and Sigtal Lord don't seem like they were in the mood to take early bush control, so they're just going to start off safe. We'll see if Brandana can get these CS. It's always a little tricky, level 1 with Tristana, if you go with that E level 1. Did get them all, so good job there.
A lot of damage being put down on this Zac early.
Yeah, gotta get lucky. Going aggressive. Shaken has that passive, obviously, so he'll always have that little bit of extra safety. Have we seen Shaken play not Zac yet this split?
I don't believe so. But on the flip side, you know, he's had great success on the champion, so I don't know why he'd change it up. It's also worth noting that Fat Lee has not played anything but Vigar, like you said, but you would think if he's going to one-trick Vigar the entire split, then he would at least purchase the skin for him.
I mean, some people are more frugal than us, man.
Just get curling Vigar, it's like 200 RP.
Yeah, you'd think he probably has at least one that he's gotten from like a loot box or whatever they're called. And I'm in Overwatch mode now. They're not called loot box here, but Shaken has actually turned the damage down around on Gotta Get Lucky, who's sitting at about 40% health now. Lord of Admirals clearing up on the top side jungle, whereas J-Dog is doing 2 camps at once down on the bot side.
I don't know why my directed camera is so focused on watching this top lane, but it just keeps wanting to take us there.
I think the algorithm has something to do with abilities used. And so Zach just spams abilities a lot.
I suppose that's true.
I think that that's part of the algorithm. It's about like how many champions are present in one area and how many abilities are being used. That's why you see bot lane a lot too, just because there's inherently more champions. As Shaken and Gotta Get Lucky, they're brawling. We've seen so many Ornn Zach matchups specifically. Lord Admiral's looking for Goonstomp. Does not quite land the grab. Goonstomp had to use the Ghost.
It was a good use of Ghost there. He would have been grabbed if he hadn't used it.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of pings coming down on the bot side river. Direct camera still thinks that the top side is where we should be watching. As Shaken jumps in, gets some damage down on to Gotta Get Lucky. And Gotta Get Lucky is extremely low. A flash auto could kill him, and it does. Shaken finding the solo kill on this Zach.
Impressively done, and also, I'm sorry for doubting you, directed camera. You knew what we needed to see the whole time.
Directed camera knows maybe 40% of the time. I do like Goonstomp bringing that Ghost in the mid lane, though, on Victor. That's another thing I was talking about earlier with the mobility Victor has. But if you add Ghost and I believe he's running Phase Rush as well. No, he's running First Strike. Never mind. But yeah, Victor, when he's zooming around, when that Q cooldown gets really low in later levels, it can be really hard to lock down this mage who you assume is just sort of going to be a sitting duck.
Yeah, you combine the fact that he, just becomes passively speedy, throw the Ghost on top of that, he will be zooming around in and out of the fights.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about Victor is once you get that second upgrade on the Siphon Power. Brandanosaur and Tilted Pig right now. Direct camera has in the bot lane. We're just watching these two guys farm away. Gotta Get Lucky gets a knack up onto Shaken, but already down a kill, and Shaken has a very slight CS advantage as a result of that. Flash was burned from both in that engagement earlier.
Also interesting to note, the bot lane of Blitzkrieg has Skinnergy, if you will.
Yeah, the Blood Moons.
Yeah.
Haven't seen, at least on camera, Smokey go for any hooks yet. Jumping again from Shaken, lands the slingshot on to Gotta Get Lucky. And Shaken, one thing I've noticed about his play is he is really, really adept and diligent at making sure he gets to his bloblets for that sustain. Now he's coming down towards Lord of Admirals, who does not have Smite, so this could get taken away from him, is able to grab it actually. Fat Lee roaming up, and Shaken could be in trouble here. Does not have Flash, able to quick slingshot away. J-Dog, Brandanosaur, and Sigtal Lord, though, nice reaction. Seeing the jungler on the top side, immediately go to the Drake and pick up the early dragon. One thing I gotta say is, as somebody who played this game a lot, up until maybe 2-3 years ago, and now plays it still, some, but not as much. I am so impressed by how much better the average player has gotten at map awareness and just like meta play like that.
Yeah, that was a very. Oops.
Sorry, Smokey is getting attacked in the jungle, but he has help nearby. J-Dog, this might be a locked in here with me moment. The hook lands at the ideal time to make that line ring, and down goes the jungler.
I already spotted that the scoreboard's not updating, so I will fix that. So I don't think Fat Lee had enough mana to ult there. He probably could have gone for that kill.
Let's see. Primordial Burst. He does now, but yeah, I think you are right that he did not at the time. Goonstomp has Ghost available again, so has that little bit of added survivability. Fat Lee did burn his teleport recently. Slight CS advantage for Fat Lee in the mid lane. CS numbers relatively even across the board. Smokey is destroying Sigtal Lord in CS, but I don't think that really is something to point out, but it was exciting for a moment. Gold lead only 200.
Yeah, it's a very small gold lead in the favor of. Actually, now it's. Well, no, it's still there for Blitzkrieg. Although, interestingly enough, they did not get that dragon. And to your point that you mentioned earlier, that, like you said, that was a very, very good heads-up play by J-Dog in the bot lane of Northern Storm to go over there and take that dragon because they knew it was going to be pretty much uncontested.
And just the quickness of the decision, too. Directed camera immediately takes us down there and say, oh, we just saw the engagement on the top side river diffuse, and they're already on the dragon. It's already at 60% health. Tilted Pig, he ended up with that red buff from the jungle exchange earlier, which is nice for him. J-Dog might get caught again, has to pop the spell shield early, able to flash away. Now Paranoia back in. Goonstomp is here first. Fat Lee is late to the play, unfortunately for them, but everybody's going solo. J-Dog is still alive. Lord of Admirals eventually goes down as well. Gotta get lucky, he's gonna get run down. Shaken slaps him to death another time. Actually, the kill went over to Goonstomp, so that's a 2-for-1 in favor of Northern Storm.
Boy, they really turned that around. That looked like it was a J-Dog dead to rights. And eventually, yes, he did die, but the turnaround that they got off of that fight with the quick rotation by the Victor, they got knocked into the air, I believe, by the Ornn, or by the Zac.
Encore comes out from Sigtal down in the bot lane, but Smokey gets past it. Navigator on the hook. Brandanis are able to flash away, or excuse me, jump away, and the rest of the situation will diffuse. It looks like On the Hunt was popped, but the hunt will be unsuccessful. And looks like no kills coming out in the bot lane. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, that's okay. I appreciate the attempt by Smokey there. He went in, he got that. Oop. I appreciate the hustle. I like the hustle. No, it was interesting because he managed to get the box down, and he was sitting on the Tristana. I believe he already flayed at that point, so his only play was to hook the Tristana out of the jump. And at that point, it's guesswork.
Sure. Unless you're Mad Life from 5 years ago.
I'm going to go ahead and assume that Mad Knife is not playing in the GMA this split.
What if we could get him, though? That'd be fun.
I'm sure he doesn't have a whole lot going on. I could probably ask.
That's another thing, though, man. Like, yeah, just the level of play for the average player in this game has gotten so much better as, just on that cue, Smokey unfortunately just barely misses the hook, and Brandanis jumps right back in. I love the instincts, the aggression. J-Dog not quite there at the ideal moment. Paranoia not available yet. But Drake is available, so they've backed the bot lane off again. Looks like Smokey and Tilted Pig, who is not Pistol Crab, will be going back to base. They should be back in time for that dragon spawn, though, or at least very close to it.
They just cleared out so much of Blitzkrieg's vision in there. They cleared 3 wards within the span of about 10 seconds. That was insane. In 3 different locations.
Oh, Rift Herald summon up. They might actually get this full bot tower at 11:30. This would be really, really nice for them. Jumping from Shaken on the top side, but looks like something's going to pop off in the bot side. Smokey not able to land the hook onto J-Dog. Lord of Admirals is here, though, and J-Dog is actually all alone in the middle. Pops Paranoia, but it's not going to be enough. Brandanisaur has to jump away. Could be in trouble. Yeah, Lord of Admirals has him in the Death Realm, and we were talking about this earlier. Brandanisaur just doesn't quite have the tools to survive that environment. Yeah. Lord of Admirals, actually it's Tilted Pig, gets the kill. Meanwhile, on the top side, gotta get lucky and Shaken, continuing to brawl. Goonstomp just trying to kite away. That laser comes out, does just get caught by the very end of the event horizon, but they won't chase further. Smoky, Tilted Pig, and Fat Lee will join Lord of Admirals on this dragon. Shaken looking to jump in, use his teleport, gotta get lucky, still has his available. We'll see if they actually go for it. Nice encore from Sigtal Lord onto 3 members, and they take down Tilted Pig. Shaken is so low, but he got Lord of Admiral, so there's no jungler available. The ghost coming out from Goonstomp. Can he stay alive? Stopwatch comes out. He flashes past Fat Lee and gets the kill. Goonstomp stays alive somehow. Shaken is the only one still alive. Actually, J-Dog is back now. And Smokey is going to drop as well. So, wow, what a turnaround there from Northern Storm in a situation that looked lost. Gotta call out that ultimate from Sigtal Lord, that encore.
That really was exquisite. And what a crazy disjointed fight. Fighting all over the river. Northern Storm also secured the dragon in that whole mess. Overall, just a big swing for them. I do think, however, to your point that you mentioned, Brandanosaur is probably going to have to pay the QSS tax just to prevent the Mordekaiser from doing what he's doing. Mordekaiser continuing to to pull him into the Upside Down, and unless he wants to have a Chrissy wake up moment, he's probably going to have to buy the QSS.
Brandana, wake up. Yeah, I do wonder about Gotta Get Lucky had the teleport available that entire time, if I'm not mistaken. I know Spectator Client can be sometimes weird about summoner spell cooldowns, but Shaken got down there pretty early, and I think Gotta Get Lucky being down there with the Called Forge God could have maybe swung that fight.
You may be right, and it's also important to note that in the course of that whole series of events, that Rift Herald absolutely did take that tower as well, and the plates accompanying it. So that was a lot of money going into the pocket of Northern Storm.
And the mid lane tower is pretty low as well. We all know the mid lane tower is worth the same amount of gold, but it's worth more in a different way. You know, just in terms of the map control, you get the vision control, you get inherently off of taking down that turret. So that'll be I would imagine that'll be the next thing in the sights of Northern Storm, as they are now boasting this 3,500 gold lead.
They will have a little bit of difficulty pushing through Tilted Pig. He clears waves like crazy.
Oh! Smokey catches the hook this time. Brandanosaur, good discipline, holding on to the jump. Encore from Sigtal Lord comes out, but Lord of Admirals is in the area. J-Dog he catches onto Tilted Pig. Down he goes. Brandanosaur is still alive, just on the very edge. Lord of Admirals has pulled J-Dog into the Death Realm, and he will take him down. And actually, Brandanosaur drops on the back end as well. So, big time play there from Lord of Admirals. Smokey as well, doing work, staying alive. Fatley catches Sigtal Lord with the Event Horizon. Says, say hello to the sunrise for me. Fatley shows up with the teleport, gets some kills back. That's a big play for Blitzkrieg to stay in this game. Shaken and Gotta Get Lucky are brawling up in the top side, and Gotta Get Lucky might get taken down again here. Misses the knockup. Shaken flashes in, but didn't have the damage with the auto attack that time. Gotta Get Lucky, tanky enough, gets the kill back.
You know, I wasn't aware that we were going to be attending a clown fiesta today, but here we are. In the best possible way. I don't mean that disparagingly. Everybody's playing pretty well. I mean, I don't fault Shaken for going for that kill. He was close. Just a little bit too long under the tower there.
Yeah, that last turret shot did a lot more damage than I expected it to, personally.
I wonder if he may have used an ability at the same time, which has chunked his health even further.
That's a good point. Nice job by Smokey in that fight in the mid lane, actually. I felt like he was dead to rights, but Lord of Admiral showed up at the right moment, and Smokey just sort of managed to stay on the periphery of that fight and still affect it, still threaten, still zone without putting himself in too much danger. Rift Herald picked up, so Blitzkrieg will have that little bit of extra pushing power, but mid lane turret will drop. As we said, Northern Storm set their sights on that. They get it. Gold lead back up over 2,000, for now at least.
Yeah, that dragon's coming up shortly, which means that they're going to want to get into position for that if they are not going to just give it up. The Ornn up in the top, he does that teleport. I'm curious to see if he'll drop the Rift Herald up there and then teleport just to ensure that even if they can't secure the dragon, that they get something back on it.
Yeah, Rift Herald would one-shot the tower from this health. But it looks like he's just going to walk down that direction. Fat Lee sitting at 113 stacks, by the way. So, a lot of extra ability power.
He may be dropping it mid to get higher value of it.
Shaken, if he shows himself, this could actually be dangerous for him. A little surprised that they aren't rotating down that direction, but there's the Rift Herald coming up. Actually, it was in the hands of Lord of Admirals, it looks like. But
oh, really? Oh.
Could take down this turret? Nope, not quite. And yeah, I'm wondering, I guess it did get them priority in the mid lane briefly. As Shaken jumps in, oh, they land the hook onto Goon Stomp, though, right into the Event Horizon. It's stolen, though. J-Dog, with the paranoia, takes away the Drake. It's going to be Soul Point going forward, but Blitzkrieg is winning the fight. J-Dog is gone. Goon Stomp is with no summoner, so he has to be very careful. Tilted Pig just trying to stay alive, eating some fruit. staying relevant for this point. It's actually amazing to me that to this point Northern Storm has only lost one. They did lose the passive of Shaken, but that's just fine. They got the Drake. You'll trade getting soul point for 1 kill, I think. Brandanosaur is still moseying around here, but I think he knew his limits there, understanding what the threats were.
I feel like Blitzkrieg may have forgotten about Zac passive. He was blobs in the dragon pit. There was no one near him. They could have killed him, but I think they may have gotten a bit tunnel visioned on a different kill.
Brandanosaur is looking for a solo kill onto Fatley. Jumps into the event horizon. Fatley doesn't have enough. Brandanosaur with the damage. The buster shot finishes it off.
Wow, that's a scary Tristana.
That event horizon just slightly late. Brandanosaur was able to rocket jump inside it before the walls went up.
Yeah, the timing on that was split second.
Yeah. Soul point now for the side of Northern Storm, and J-Dog with a huge steal there, coming in with the paranoia, outsmiting Lord of Admirals, and putting his team in a really good position going forward.
It is interesting to me that despite the fact that the kills are even, there's 3 dragons, and you know, a significant tower disparity between these teams, that the gold is as close as it is. I would have thought it would have been a wider spread.
Yeah, I mean, the kills being even, and wow, that Mordekaiser's been farming up a storm, so that certainly helps the cause.
That's true. Holy moly. Oh, Smokey, that's a bold place to step.
Yeah, Brandanosaur there stepping forward right at the Thresh, just no fear.
Well, as a former support main, I know it's a very intricate game to play between Tristana and Thresh. You have to time that jump perfectly, and or time the flay perfectly, depending on what side of that particular arrangement you're on. Lots of margin for error.
Everybody opted out of the engagement there initially. Fatley and Goonstomp rotated down to the bot side at this point. Fatley sitting now at 139 stacks, so starting to get up into that Vigar scary territory. Shaken and Gotta Get Lucky still doing their thing up here in the top lane. It's one thing that's interesting to me is actually Gotta Get Lucky has opted into the ninja tabby here, despite the fact that he's laning against magic damage, and I don't feel like there's a disparate, that's not a word, just a uneven amount of magic damage versus physical damage here.
No, it does feel a bit
Lord of
odd.
Admirals is here.
Oh.
Sorry, I posed you a question and then I immediately interrupted you, but Shaken has been pulled into the Death Realm, and Lord of Admirals should probably be able to take him down. Passive is not available yet. Shaken won't wake up here, and will go down. Nice gank there from the jungler of Blitzkrieg.
Shaken, wake up! Yeah, Shaken did not make it out of that. It was a very good ult grab, too. It was in the middle of the slingshot.
The rest of Northern Storm now on this top side, a little bit late to save their top laner, but they will be able to at least prevent any further losses on that half of the map. Dragon coming up in 33 seconds. Obviously, this will be very important for both teams. We see backs coming out, everybody getting prepared, spending that gold, amping up for this next fight, which could be crucial.
Yeah, it's important to note this Tristana at this point has become a threat. The scoreline doesn't necessarily dictate that, but with the amount of farm, the amount of items, you cannot leave her unattended. Good flash by Goonstomp. He was about to join Chrissy.
Yeah, Goonstomp, without that flash though now, Lord of Admirals gets a little pull onto Shaken, but not too much damage. Shaken didn't have something else to grab to pull Lord of Admirals back that way, and it will be... Yeah, they quickly go to the Drake. I like that call. I'm wondering you know, it's all hindsight now, but if you were Northern Storm, would you almost have wanted to threaten sort of a Baron trade there? It looks like they might look for a delayed trade here.
Oh, I don't know about
feel
this.
like, yeah, I feel like Blitzkrieg must know this is happening.
Yeah,
Fat
they
Lee's in
definitely
the top
know.
lane. He does have teleport, so he can join as long as there's a good ward for him to come to. Here comes Call of the Forge God. Shaken is in. He doesn't disrupt the Call of the Forge God, though, and the fight has popped up. J-Dog jumps into the backline. He's very low. The spell shield is not going to be enough to keep him alive, but he does take down Tilted Pig, or at least helps to, as Brandanosaur gets the co-credit. He's hopping around. Nice play from Soki, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive as no one else was there. Lord of Admirals all alone goes down. The sustain not good enough. And it's a 3-for-1 in favor of Northern Storm.
Oh man, I am pretty sure that I just saw Mordekaiser tried to ult a spell shielded Nocturne, and that hurts my soul.
You were talking about that being a potential thing that could happen earlier. I'm wondering if Fat Lee and Gotta Get Lucky could still be contesting this Baron. Fat Lee is full health and Gotta Get Lucky has teleport. He could rejoin. I think they just didn't expect Northern Storm to come right back to it. Fat Lee trying to dish out the damage. Now Gotta Get Lucky is here, but he hasn't recalled, so he doesn't have health. In goes Shaken again, trying to disrupt any sort of interference, and the rest of the team is still on it. They do get it. Can Fat Lee find any kills? No, he gets taken down by Shaken, who is piloting this Zac with expertise again. Forces away Gotta Get Lucky, and Northern Storm now with a 5,500 gold lead, looking to make Blitzkrieg take the L for the first time this split.
Man, that had to be very annoying for Fat Lee. You know, the play is right there. You can see it. You could just put the cage down, just murder those poor idiots taking the Baron. But it just wasn't going to happen because that Zac would not leave him alone. He was stuck to his face like a face hugger from Alien.
We're pulling out all the references tonight. So taking stock of things now, yeah, Northern Storm absolutely in control of this game. They lost that Drake, but went right to the Baron, got an advantageous fight. Goonstomp actually sort of quietly at 3-0 and 4 on this Victor now.
Interesting good go with the Leandries. You don't see that too frequently on a Victor. I don't think it's the ideal item for him at all, to be honest, but maybe he's trying to punch through the tank line.
Yeah, there's a lot of front line, and you do have a Seraphine there, so maybe you're expecting these fights to drag on for a while.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Goonstomp's also very much a, and do not take this incorrectly, he's a very, very good supportive mid laner. I can say that because when I played mid, I'll hold the phone here.
Yeah, Shaken just barely missing the slingshot, and then Smokey actually almost found a great snipe with the death sentence, but missed by a pixel or two. I hear what you're saying, though. Yeah, I think that Goonstomp likes to play sort of a very methodical style. He's not the kind of player who wants to just one-tap you.
Right, exactly. He plays 100% for the team, and he'll play whatever role that is. I mean, as I recall, we had him playing, like, Tom Kench mid, I think he's done before. Like, some wacky stuff like that.
I do remember that. That was wild to watch.
Interesting point by Token. They knew that the Zac was going to get picked up by Shaken. Why did they not go Poppy? It's a valid question.
That is in Gotta Get Lucky's wheelhouse, too, if I'm not mistaken.
It absolutely is, and it wasn't banned. So I think that's probably just a miss in the pick ban there, because that could have helped them a lot. That would stop a lot of this engage potential.
Yeah, especially, even the Tristana as well. As Smokey flashes over, they get on the Sig Tower. The Encore is not enough. Brandanosaur doesn't quite have the damage to finish off. Smokey has to hop away.
Man, if that hook had landed, that was about an inch away. That would have probably been a dead Tristana on top of that, too. They could have really piled onto that.
And Goonstomp just burned his ghost. And Fat Lee looks like, he is just going to run him down. Event Horizon comes out and forces the flash. So Goonstomp, on this split push duty down here, has had to burn both summoners in the last few seconds. Does get caught by the pole, but nice job with the gravity field. J-Dog comes in, and Lord of Admirals could be in trouble. He has to pull Goonstomp into the Death Realm. The Gravity Well is already available again, though, so Lord of Admirals is not able to really get a ton of damage down. There's another big shield, though. Everybody's getting so low for the side of Northern Storm, they just cannot kill this Mordekaiser. He is almost back up to half health. Brandanasaur, though, has arrived, gets caught by the Event Horizon, could get bursted down, and he will escape, actually.
Oh my
wow, the
gosh.
rocket jump just enough, but that will mean that Dragon is gonna go over to the side. Yeah, there's no steal to happen from Goonstomp, who is on the wrong side of the river now. Pink's
Really-
coming down onto him.
Really, really well played by Lord of Admirals there. He needed to ult the victor.
Flash actually finds Goonstomp again. Has to get away. The hook just barely missing. Smokey still chasing. I'm sorry though. You were saying?
No, yeah, that's fine. Soki's still looking.
Actually, Goonstomp
Oh.
just kills Smokey.
All right, well, little too ambitious there, Smokey. But you know, I like the guts. No guts, no glory, right? You have to go for it. Really well played by Lord of Admirals there to ult the Victor by Goonstomp. If he doesn't do that, even though there was very little chance he was going to be able to kill him in that Death Realm, it stalled. It stalled for so long, and it allowed his team to arrive to actually back him up. And as a result, that fight went very, very well for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Just buying time with the Death Realm. It's a little power nap. Brandanasaur shooting off at Fat Lee. The root doesn't land from Fat Lee, but it looked like it was sort of more of a zoning.
Yeah, the Zac was making eyes, looking like he might be going for the cookies there.
And so Blitzkrieg, they're hanging in there. I mean, this gold lead has shrunk slightly since that Baron take, excuse me. And as we all know, you know, if gold leads even stay the same as the game goes on, you're feeling fine if you're the team trailing.
So here's an interesting thing I've noticed here. First of all, we did see Ornn item starting to get passed out now to the team. Actually, I think he may have already done that for a bit now. So yeah, because the Sivers got one. But there is a Grievous item on the side of Northern Storm. It's on the Seraphine. Oop,
Got a pause.
and there is a pause.
Well, that gives you plenty of time to finish your point.
I was like, this is a good time now for me to go off on this little tangent. So the item there, let's see if I can mouse over it during the pause. Yeah, the Chemtech Putrefier. Great item on Seraphine because basically anything that she shields or heals gets Grievous wounds, right? Makes sense. Here's the problem. That doesn't help when Mordekaiser is beating one of your friends to death alone in the Death Realm. I think they're going to need more Grievous despite the fact that the Putrefier will hit everybody on her team. They're going to need a little bit more to actually ensure that the Mordekaiser just doesn't come out of the Death Realm with way more health than he went in with.
Yeah, and this is a tricky situation for Brandanasaur in particular, because when you have a champion like Tristana, and this is just me speaking from my own like gold level experience, you almost don't want to go double Zeal items because of her rapid fire. You feel like you're not getting, you don't want to ramp up too much attack speed because that rapid fire, you end up not really getting full value out of things. And so the Mortal Reminder doesn't seem as appealing. And I'm wondering if maybe that would have been the choice instead of rapid fire cannon.
Yeah, that's probably what I would have gone with. I understand, there's a world where both matter. Maybe they were thinking, especially when he started to build that item. Oh, apparently pause is over. Where it was less of a concern that they needed to do with the healing. But, oh, now my stream is having an issue.
Yeah, same. Yeah, are you frozen?
I am frozen, yeah. Let's see if... Time controls.
I'm in so much suspense about if that Victor laser is going to catch Smokey.
Yeah. Oh,
no, it did, and we're back. All right. So we might be a few seconds behind here, folks, but
yeah.
Sounds like we're synced, so let's just keep it where it is.
And yes, for the record, the laser did indeed miss.
So dramatic. So Lord of Admirals, well, he did have the highest farm in the game, I believe, for a little while, but Brandanasaur surpassing him now, so this Tristana really starting to come online. Tilted Pig as well, starting to get really far up there in the farm game. And you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier the wave clear. It's been so difficult for Northern Storm, I feel, even when they've had advantages, to really push hard into the inner ring of turrets for Blitzkrieg because of this Sivir, which just annihilates waves so easily, so effortlessly, so safely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really hard. Unless you just go on her instead of the wave, there's really no way to stop her from doing what she's doing. Look at that. That's just absurd.
Yeah, just right now.
Yeah. Interesting to note as well, and something that was pointed out in the Twitch chat, no QSS tax has been paid yet. That is still a completely
They actually
unbought
got,
item.
yeah, a little attack here on Shaken up in the top side. He gets stunned up. Smokey pulls him away. Here's the let's bounce. Can he stay alive? Actually, nobody from Northern Storm is even going up towards him. He does use the slingshot
my
nicely.
gosh.
Oh my gosh, he's gone. He is just fine. Teleports away all the way to the bot lane. But Baron is available, which means he does not have the ability to rejoin this fight. And Northern Storm, they know it's happening. They're just shoving down mid lane. They might be willing to trade inhibitor for Baron right now. J-Dog doesn't have vision, so he can't even paranoia in, and the Baron does drop. I like that call from Blitzkrieg. They look to interrupt. Here comes the Encore, but they're fighting a 3v5 right now. They're just looking to interrupt the backs, but they're sacrificing lives for it. Here comes the call of the Forge God. Goonsam does take down Smokey with the Chaos Storm eventually. Fatley has gotten back to base, so they do end up trading inhibitor for Baron. 1 kill apiece as well.
Wow. Goonstam did have to flash there to avoid being hit.
Dinosaurs arrived now, actually. Lord of Admirals is going to drop. Great continuation of the fight from Northern Storm. Fatley and Shaken, they are just brawling down on the bot side. Shaken avoiding the event horizon and lands the slingshot. And Fatley could be in trouble here. Shaken is in turret range, though. Let's Bounce comes out. Fatley, nice use of the stopwatch. Can he stay alive? Slingshot one more time. Got him. The bloblets are popped. I think that Shaken has no way out of this particular situation, although the rest of the team has arrived. Brandanasaur, no, the Ricochet just follows Shaken the rest of the way. The squad tried to show up. They couldn't quite save Shaken, but a nice play by that Zac down on the bot side. And Dragon is available. Lord of Admirals is dead for another 10 seconds, which means that this should be Soul finally going over to Northern Storm. They've been on this Soul point for about 15 minutes, and they'll finally get it.
You know, I know I'm supposed to stay impartial, but I'm kind of glad that the Zac did end up dying. That's just criminal how much he got away with there. Felt like Jesse from Breaking Bad. Just, he can't keep getting away with this, and he almost did.
Yeah, he's a tanky boy down there. I thought it was a great job by Fatley actually to stay alive as long as he did. At least to secure the bloblets being popped, and got to get lucky being able to clean that up at the end alongside Tilted Pig. Gotta say though, yeah, I love Northern Storm. That initial exchange, it seemed pretty even. You get Baron for an inhibitor, 1 kill each. You know, Shaken's down in the bot lane just doing his thing. But the fact that they continued that fight, stopped the backs, which is not that easy against a team with Baron buff. They're gone real quick. But they continued the exchange, they disjointed the recalls, and then Brandanasaur just came straight from taking that inhibit mid lane and just melted a couple people.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if the way that... Oh, he did actually build some Grievous now. But I was going to say, like, I was wondering if his strategy for dealing with the Mordekaiser was just simply to, yeah, let him take me. I'll fight you in here.
Killing
That's
him.
fine. They evade the grab there. It was kind of close.
Oh, that ward missed, though. That's a sad day.
Don't worry. Nobody saw it.
Oh, pull from Lord of Admirals onto J-Dog. The spell shield a little bit late, and the death sentence lands. It will be true to his name. There's no way the Nocturne gets out of this safely. Paranoia pop, but it won't really be consequential in any way. Shaken pushing up in the top lane. This Zac has become a split pusher. We were talking about there not really being much split push in this game, but he's doing it pretty effectively at this point. Cloud Soul will help Northern Storm zoom around even faster than they were before. Tilted Pig has actually sort of quickly gone up to 6-3 and 6, so this Sivir is starting to get really, really powerful.
Yeah, and I was going to say...
Lord of Admirals, he catches onto Sigtal Lord, but he's stunned up by the gravity field. He pulls in Brandanasaur. Here's that fight we were talking about. There's the Buster Shot. Can Lord of Admirals get in range. He cannot win the 1v1. Brandanosaur wakes up and takes out the jungler. Shaken drops on the backside, didn't have bloblets. So far it's a 1-for-1 again. But it was, I believe, a 5v4. So if you're Northern Storm, you're feeling okay about 1-for-1 in a 5v4.
Yeah, I suppose, I didn't really think about it, but the Doctrine wasn't there for that yet.
And that's, I mean, we were joking a little bit, but that was exactly what we were talking about. No QSS for Brandanosaur, but just willing to take that exchange. Smokey could be in trouble. Should survive. No, does not. Brandana with the damage over the wall. No way for Smokey to survive. Actually, Tilted Pig had heal. Elected not to use it.
I mean, I don't. I was pretty sure he was gonna live, and he didn't.
I thought he
so
was too.
My guess is they just didn't heal because they thought he was gonna live. Try to fix the time here real quick. There we go.
So 6,000 gold lead now for the side of Northern Storm, looking to hand Blitzkrieg their first loss of Prowler's round robin. Smokey is up in 7, so should be available before any more neutral objectives come up, but the Cloud Soul is already in the hands of Northern Storm. Baron will be the next big thing on the menu, 41 seconds till that. And the Ornn items you mentioned earlier starting to come online. We've got 4 upgraded Ornn items now, only 1 more to go. Or is that upgrade is just faded because of
No, she doesn't have it
no,
yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Or he.
Baron in 20 seconds. We see pings coming out from the side of Blitzkrieg, so they're well aware. And I think that it's important that they fight this, because we've seen how Shaken cannot really be 1v1'd in a lane, at least enough to stop him from affecting it. And so you don't want to hand over a Baron buff to that as well.
Yeah, this is a sort of a sticky spot to be in. You need to fight it, but you need to fight it perfectly. If you don't fight it perfectly, there's enough tools that could be used to have this fight go completely off the rails.
An inhibitor has respawned, so you don't have to think about the super minions for now at least. But if you get pulled into a drawn-out engagement without wave control in the mid lane, this could end up being one of those, pseudo backdoor endings where Brandanosaur can just destroy the base while everybody else is being distracted. I'm sure that Blitzkrieg are mindful of that. Gotta get lucky, chunked out by Goonstomp. Only about 50% of his health, but that's a pretty big deal. Shaken jumps in, looking for Tilted Pig. Here comes Paranoia as well. They do have vision. Whoever he wants to go on, he can. He jumps onto Lord of Admirals, actually, who is in the Death Realm. I actually can't see who he's in the Death Realm with. J-Dog is pretty low. In the back is Shaken. They're just trying to front to back him. Meanwhile, Lord of Admirals is still dueling in the Death Realm. They do pop Shaken into Bloblets. Brandanosaur takes down Lord of Admirals again. Gotta get lucky. Is at about half health. He is strong enough to hang on, but Brandanosaur is full health, as is Sig Tau Lord. A 1-for-1 again. Lord of Admirals and Shaken taken down, but that means Elder Drake's on the table and there's no smite for Team Blitzkrieg. The undefeated Blitzkrieg so far. They must fight this. They're running in hard. Kill J-Dog quick if you can before the smite goes off. Brandanosaur secures it actually, and now they're all just gonna drop the resets, the burn, the smite from the Elder Drake. Tilted Pig's Guardian Angel won't last long. Brandanosaur shuts them down, and that should be the game. Northern Storm gonna hand Blitzkrieg their first loss of the split.
Yeah, really, really well played. The smite did not land. I saw it go to 1 health. That was exceptionally close. Brandana got the last auto off, I'm assuming, or it might have even been an explosive shot or something.
Lord of Admirals wants one more 1v1 with Brandanosaur, but I don't think it's going to go his way again. Actually, Brandanosaur doesn't have the Buster Shot, but he didn't even need it. That damage was insane there at the end. Nexus can't hold up. And an impressive win from Northern Storm here in Game 2.
Very, very well played on both sides. I agree with what Pistol Crab is saying. That could have gone either way. Very well played.
Right, since stats work for you, anything in particular we should call out?
Just taking a look here. Well, they kind of work for me. I can at least see the scoreboard. Like you said about the Goon Stomps Victor, sneakily did the most damage, actually. I would have plugged the Tristana, who was 11 and 2, but actually, most damage done to champions was the Goon Stomp. And Victor.
Well, I'm gonna pull Brandanosaur into the interview room here. I almost said injury room. Don't want
Oh
to
no,
wish
don't do
that
that.
on
Yeah,
anybody.
don't do that.
So we'll hop over there. Hey, Brandana, congrats on the win.
Thanks.
You want to start us off this time, Greg?
Sure. I'm not going to ask you a specific question about what you played or anything like that. I just have to ask. You just handed them the first loss. There is now no team that is undefeated. How do you feel about that?
Oh, feels pretty good. Going in, knew it was gonna be tough, tough fight, and we kind of just. As soon as I knew what I was facing when Smokey subbed in, I kind of knew a game plan and stuck to it, and it worked out.
So just going off of that, you mentioned as soon as Smokey stepped in, you kind of had an idea of how this game was going to go. Was that because of Smokey's champion pool? Have you played with him in the past a good amount?
Yeah, me and Smokey play an all right amount. And just knowing his champ pool, which is very different from, well, not very different, but a little wider champ pool, so it was easier to take down some of the annoying picks, especially like Swain. I personally hate playing against Swain, and I don't want to see that on the Rift ever. So that was an easy ban.
All right. So I want to ask you, we were talking about the lack of QSS there with Lord of Admirals pulling you into the Death Realm over and
Oh.
over. Was that something you sort of had calculated out? Like you were confident even if he ulted you, you could win that 1v1? Or was it just a situation where you never really had the appropriate amount of gold to make buying the QSS convenient? Or was it a little bit of both? Tell me about that decision.
Um, I felt like I had a lead, or not so much a lead, but I had a good amount of gold to deal with him, and I actually was able to probably kite his Qs while in the realm, so I felt like I could deal with him. And I could get him away with the Tristana R, and then just kind of kite him out as I see it. So it is scary. I've always scared Immortal, but I felt like I had the tools to do it.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us and congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Folks, well, congrats to Northern Storm, handing Blitzkrieg their first loss. Both teams now sitting at 2-1. We've got one more match for you here tonight. It will be Phoenix taking on Option 12. Both of those teams also sitting at 2-1. So one of them will join our last two competitors sitting at the top of the standings at 2-1. We're going to take a short break here before that match, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.